What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Savvy, or hey, Sabrina if you're new here. And with all of the buzzwords of forever save files, I wanted to go through how I quickly come up with some NPC backstories. Now, I'll be honest, I am a rotational player, and sometimes these NPCs do become families that I play with. It just kind of depends on how invested I am in their storyline when I'm building them, but everyone has potential. So I'm going to take you through kind of cast and then how I use ChatGPT to help me kind of come up with a storyline, and then a simple mod within cast to kind of cheat some of those things. You can do this with the MC Command Center, but just having it all in cast just makes it so much easier, especially if you randomly are coming up with an idea and you just want to quickly implement it into your game so that you can get back to your actual household that you're playing. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here I have ChatGPT open, and you can honestly give it as little or as much information as you're wanting. So, you know, say you have a random townie that moved in next door to your main sim and you're like, let's give him a makeover, or let's just evict that family completely and come up with something else. And you've got some kind of an idea in line that you want to be able to have, like, this NPC townie eventually become best friends with your main sim. And so they have to have some similar characteristics. Whatever your heart desires, ChatGPT is here to help you. Whatever you say to ChatGPT, you could spell things wrong, it's fine. So I'm just saying, hey, come up with a storyline of two brothers who moved in next door to my main sim in Willow Creek. I need a backstory, their career, plus likes and dislikes, traits as well. I will say ChatGPT is not always right, and sometimes they get things wrong, but they'll at least give you a base idea. Okay, for brother one, Elliot Green, their backstory is Elliot is an older brother, 28, who practically raised his younger sibling after his parents split. He's protective, grounded, and a little too serious at times. The brothers just inherited their late grandfather's fixer-upper in Willow Creek, so they're starting fresh. His career, he's an aspiring chef. He grew up cooking for his little brother and has dreams of opening a small farm-to-table restaurant one day. For now, he's working as a line cook at Hogan's Burger Bar. So we don't have Hogan's Burger Bar in our game, so we don't even need to use that as a piece, but now we can say that he has a career, which is going to be a line cook or something in the cooking aspect. He's going to have the aspiring chef aspiration, and we know that he cooked a lot for his little brother. So some traits: he's family oriented, he's a foodie, and he's a perfectionist. He likes cooking shows, gardening, classic rock, and cozy nights in. So cozy nights in and cooking shows I don't think are something that we can say that he likes, but we can find something similar. And then his dislikes are messiness, lazy sims, and loud neighbors. So obviously we can't pick those things, but we can kind of go with the idea. Now let's look at Elliot's little brother, Jasper Green. His backstory: Jasper is 24. He's a wild child of the two. He never quite fit in to a structured life. So now moving to Willow Creek, he feels like it's his chance to finally grow up, kind of. He and Elliot clash because Jasper doesn't always pull his weight, but he's charming enough that people tend to forgive him. So he is a freelance digital artist. I love that. So he takes gigs when he feels like it. Secretly dreams of becoming a music producer, but hasn't committed to the grind yet. His traits are that he's creative, outgoing, and non-committal. He likes painting, video games, EDM, and late night hangouts. He dislikes early mornings, responsibility, and overly strict rules. Dynamics: Elliot nags Jasper about cleaning up, paying bills. So some of those things we don't need to even look into, but they're there if we want them. So now we're going to go into our game, and we're actually going to create Jasper. So I'm just going to click on Willow Creek, and then we're going to go ahead and click on create a new household to move in. These are the two brothers. I just randomly went to the gallery and picked two random sims that I liked, and I manually went in here and just made them brothers. I did make them jokesters because even though technically Elliot is the more, you know, serious version according to what our storyline is, I still thought they would kind of be jokesters in between. I went ahead and gave them their traits. So we have outgoing, creative, non-committal, which is what chat suggested for Jasper. And then he is a best-selling author. I'm actually going to change this to musical genius because chat did say that he dreams of becoming a music producer, but hasn't committed to the grind yet. So I'm going to just say that he's going to aspire to do that. And then as far as his likes and dislikes, So I gave him the likes of neo disco music, DJ booth music, video gaming, mixology, painting, and DJ mixing, because again, he's kind of a wild child. He loves music. He loves DJ. You know, he's a night owl. Basically, he's a partier. And then for dislikes, I said optimistic Sims and hardworking Sims. That was kind of the closest to what chat said, which is basically early mornings, responsibility, and overly strict rules. I feel like that was kind of the best dynamic that I could go with there. And then for Elliot, we gave him, as chat suggested, the perfectionist, the foodie, and the family oriented. And then of course he's got the master chef aspiration. As far as likes and dislikes, he likes outdoorsy, electronica music, purple violin, just kind of some random things. Dislikes, he doesn't like discussing hobbies, farmhouse decor, knitting, island decor, country fashion. And then as far as his turn-ons, outdoorsy, platinum hair apparently, brown clothes, highly skilled, career-minded, arts and crafts, and funny, and he doesn't like argumentative. So I kind of randomized those and cleaned them up a bit, because again, we want this to be as quick as possible. So pre-made gallery sim, we made them brothers via, CAS, and then kind of for the most part tried to kind of give them a baseline of what chat kind of gave us as far as their backstory and storyline. Now, again, if this is a character that you're going to use in your story and you're trying to come up with a backstory for just like a main sim, then you can get way more in depth with this, but we want this to be really quick and easy. So pre-made sims, I already went through, made sure they had their clothes on. I will show you a couple of my favorite simmers that make really great sims. They have an array of game options. So if you're only playing with base game, they have a lot of base game, but they also have a lot of other pack. They do families, they do individual, and they don't catfish with CC. That really makes me mad, because I'll get a sim and I'm like, oh my gosh, how cute, and then load them into my game and they're bald and naked, and that's just really frustrating. I don't know how they get around EA not pulling that they have custom content on them, but that's really frustrating. So a couple that I'm following that I love is Miss Pluto. Miss Pluto has a combination of families and individual sims. This is actually where I got both Elliot and Jasper. Jasper's over here. You can't really see because I'm in the, let me turn my cam off real quick. Here's Jasper, but they have a lot of different, families, different dynamics, ethnicities, all kinds of different things in here. So I really like Miss Pluto. Another one that I really enjoy is Denise S4. Again, a good mixture of single sims, but there's also some families that this person creates, that she creates, I guess. So good families there. Again, no issues with CC and catfishing. Simmer Larcy is another one that is really great. Lots of dynamic, lots of different ethnicities and singles and family sims, a variety of pack options, definitely some. So like if you're trying to build specifically in the fairy world, then you can do that if you have Enchanted by Nature. I use a ton of these sims in my game. And then last but not least, I already shared this one before. I mean, I follow a ton of different simmers, but these are probably my most used. I showcased this in my last video. Jennifer Ann, also known as Sakura Leon. They also do, I think, some custom poses and a few overrides. I believe if you search their name online, you can find some mods by them. But again, they just make the best families. I absolutely love all of the work and effort that goes into just individualizing these families and making them feel and look so unique, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and just a good balance of people. So I would say Sakura Leon is probably the one I use the most in my game. I mentioned before, because you can actually add a bunch of NPCs that they have into your forever save file if you're wanting to fill some of the void, like the part-time jobs, the police officers, just all of those kind of basic things. That way EA isn't creating random townies in your game. You can't really get away with them not creating random townies unless you have mods in place, but if you fulfill enough of your own, then you will get far less, which is really nice. So that's just a little tip. Those are some of the families that I really enjoy. So back to our boys, I wanted to show you now, this is where the real storytelling comes in. So this is basic. We've all already known how to do this. We've already known that we can use the gallery and create NPCs and throw them into our house. But with the mod that I was talking about, which is Vicky's instant cast storytelling mod, you go back back into your preferences and you're going to see that you have this specific one that says attributes affect aspects of the sim that don't fit into the other preference categories. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And you're going to see here that now we have the cast story career, we have the cast story skill, and the cast story degree. So what we're going to be able to do here now is give our sim a career at a specific level. We're going to be able to give them some skills so that they don't go into the world being completely skillless and catching fires every time they try to cook a grilled cheese. And then if you're interested in your sim having a degree, then they can have a degree as well, which is really nice. It just creates less work when it goes into placing your sim. We can literally finish this up in cast and immediately put them into the world and forget it. We don't have to load them into a lot. We don't have to, you know, use MC Command Center when we run into them in public to give them a backstory line. We can do all of this in cast and then drop them into their game, and it's as easy as that. Now, again, if you're using this for your main sim, you can get as in-depth as you want. If you want to use this in your save file and you want to have super in-depth NPC storylines or Townie storylines, you can do that as well. So for Jasper, we're going to go ahead and give him the digital artist career because, of course, that is what ChatGPT basically told us that he was going to do. And then as far as how this works too, by the way, is that if you like it with the smiley face, then the career is going to be like a level 5 or above. I think it's just straight a level 5. And then if you do a dislike, they're still going to have that career, but it's going to be more like entry level. So it can be anywhere from the beginning to level 3, I believe. It doesn't really specify on the website, but I think for the most part, it's typically like level 3 in the career. So that's what we gave Jasper. It aligned with ChatGPT's vision for our backstory. And then as far as his skills, we're going to give him charisma, a light cooking skill. He's obviously going to have DJ and dancing. And then we definitely want to give him some music. Let's see, we'll do a writing skill. Maybe we'll just give him, since he's got the DJ mixing, maybe we'll just do in the writing skill. So as far as these skills, again, it's going to be like a level 5 if you hit like, and it's going to be like a level 1 to 3. I believe it's a level 3 if you hit dislike. And then if you leave it blank, of course, it's not going to give him a skill at all. So that's a good way for you to give them kind of baseline. No one's going to become a perfectionist. We're not maxing out skills here. We're just giving us a little bit of something to work with. The last but not least is the degree. Now, I am not going to give Jasper a degree because there wasn't really anything in his bio that made me feel like he would have had a degree. Seems like he's also kind of just like a wild child. Seems like the type of kid that wanted to quickly graduate high school just so that he can move on with what he's doing. His brother's taking care of him, so he's got kind of this casual freelance thing where he's like gonna gain some money when he's got some free time and he's not partying. So no degree for him. For Elliot's career, we're gonna give him a level 5 in the culinary career, which I believe is the line cook. And then as far as his skills, again, we're gonna give him some charisma. We're gonna give him a little bit of a baking skill, a high cooking skill. We'll give him some comedian. Maybe he has got a little bit of a garden skill. We'll give him a little bit of gourmet cooking. We're also going to give him a decent parenting skill because obviously based on the storyline that we have here, he has raised Jasper. And again, if you want to go more in depth with the storyline, absolutely dig into it. You can go as deep in as you want. I mean, you could create his parents and make him deadbeats. You could create his grandparents that are gifting him this house, like however deep you want to go. But for the most part, we can also just have some imaginary things going on where we don't need to create a whole generation for Jasper and Elliot, but at least the bio will provide us with the information that we need. And then as far as the degree, I'm actually going to say that he has a regular schmegler degree in culinary arts. Obviously, chat didn't tell us to do that, but I'm thinking, you know, if this is something that he wanted to take seriously, that maybe at the time he was juggling college while trying to raise Jasper and doing kind of a side hustle business of, you know, cooking on the side to kind of make money while he was in college. So I think that kind of gives him enough of a backstory, but that is basically this really quick, easy, little simple way to kind of cheat some sim attributes without having to do anything more in the game. It just is so nice to be able to control it all from right here. Again, you don't have too much control in the sense that, you know, it's going to be a level 3 or a level 5, or it's going to be a regular career or degree a degree or degree with honors. But that's okay. It's going to give us something to work with, and it's going to make it so that if you're randomly meeting Jasper or Elliot out in public, that they've already got some likes and dislikes. He's got a career. He has a little bit of backstory. So it's not just an unemployed Sims that is just a super random townie. Now that we have this going, we can go ahead and say okay. And I'm actually going to hit cancel moving really quick. We're going to go into other households and pull them up, and we're going to give them their bio. Now, you can do this however you would like. For me, I'm going to go back to our ChatGPT chat, and I'm going to say, can you give me a short 2-sentence, oops, not me spelling two wrong, 2-sentence bio. I'm just gonna hit go. So Elliot and Jasper Green are two brothers starting over in Willows Creek after inheriting their grandfather's old house. Elliot is responsible chef chasing stability, while Jasper is a carefree creative chasing fun. And together they bring a mix of order and chaos to the neighborhood. So that's the gist of it. We're going to go ahead and copy that. And then we're going to come back here, and I'm just going to paste it right into the game. So now we have our backstory. We have our brothers. Now the next thing that we need to do is move them into a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and move them just right here. Yep, we're moving them. I'm going to hit play so that we can actually give them a house that kind of fits their needs. Now, again, I'm just going to go to the gallery and throw something together. If you really want to, you can decorate it to however you think like Elliot and Jasper's style would be, make it relevant to the skills that they're working on, whatever it is that you want. At the bare minimum, I typically will try to fit, obviously, the town that I'm in. They're excited and it's winter time, but at the very bare minimum, I will make sure that they each have a bed. If I'm doing an NPC family and I'm wanting them to actually live in the neighborhood versus just be a random, townie, then I will actually at minimum make sure that they have beds so that if I ever were to date them, visit them, whatever, then it makes sense for the storyline. So for this, that's what we're going to do, and just quickly give them a house. So for me, I like to go in here, and I usually like to make it the size because I like to fulfill the property. And then I'll type something in. Actually, let me change this to all and not just people I'm following. You can type in Willow Creek. This means that the creators typically are keeping the aesthetic of whatever world you're using in mind. And I like to kind of go with that. And if you have any tips or tricks for finding things a little bit better in the gallery, let me know. These are just things that I do. Little starter cottage, 2-bedroom, 1-bath starter cottage. That's great. I think this will kind of be perfect. I wouldn't necessarily say that it fits the fixer upper vibe, but I definitely think it's nice and small. It's easy for them to go with. So we can just say they inherited it from their family. So the only real update we're going to need to do is obviously this room is really girly, but also we are going to need to give them a bed. Just going to choose something really simple, and I think we can kind of go from here. So now they've definitely got a nice little house that's kind of a fixer-upper. There's nothing spectacular about it, and they can start their gameplay. So now we can look here and see all of the basics between a 3 and a 5 of everything I gave them. If you go into their career panel, you can see that he is a freelance digital artist. If I go to his Simology, it's going to pull up his likes and dislikes, that he has a job, all of the things. Now, if we go over to Elliot's, it should show that actually he has a degree. Let's see. It does. So he has earned a culinary arts degree. So that's already in there. And then it also shows that he's been promoted because his job is a level 5 line cook. So now we know that all of those things are exactly where they need to be. Everything's lined up with as far as like what he needs to be doing for his job. So his line cook, he has a level 4. He's technically level 5. So he also needs to reach the mixology skill. That's something obviously that you could have cheated, whatever it is that you need to do to kind of build upon. So now this family is basically ready to play or ready to be an NPC that you can bump into that actually has a backstory. you can go into live mode or live mode and start playing your game. So now if these were your neighbors, say you lived here, then you've got these two people that have a backstory. They have a little bit of, likes, dislikes to just kind of give them a little bit of added dynamic. And so it's not going to just be like, oh, you're talking to some random NPC at the local library and they're unemployed and they don't like anything. They're not really auto-generated by EA, they're generated by you. And maybe you get so attached that you decide that you want to play Jasper and Elliot for a little while and build on their story and their dynamic and give them a little bit of backstory. The other thing that you can do, and I do this a lot, honestly, because I always get invested in NPCs that I would say I choose to move into a house. You've got your NPCs that are just in the world, and then there are NPCs that are actually your neighbors and things. I always get invested in the ones that I move into the house. So for me, I typically would then give, Elliot and Jasper, I would give them their parents or their grandparents. In this situation, we were basically shared that they inherited this house from their grandparents. So maybe I would give them their grandparents and I would turn them into ghosts, or I would kill them off in the game so that this is something that is recent, like grandparents recently passed. There's some mourning going on. You can build on this however you want, but this is just a simple way for you to kind of get, if you've got like writer's block or creator's block and you're like, gosh, like I have no idea what I want to do in The Sims. This is really a great way that you can quickly use ChatGPT to give you a little bit of something to work with and then build upon it yourself. And then using Vicky's mod, the instant story cast mod, is just a great way for you to not have to come into the game and then apply all these cheats and go into MC Command Center and cheat your careers or however it is that you want to do that. I mean, you can do that. Obviously, there's multiple ways that you can build upon this game, but that's just a way for me that I am able to quickly build a storyline and quickly build, this took me a half hour total since I've been recording. And now we have two Sims. They have a backstory, they have careers. One of them has a degree, they have skills that they're working on. And we've even pulled a house that is similar to the ones in the neighborhood that fit the dynamic of their storyline. That is just a way that you can build on your forever save or any save that you're working on, honestly. But if you are doing a forever save, this is just a really great way for you to help kind of build your world and make it more lively and have a little bit more control, but take a little bit less time to do so. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to give it a like and then subscribe for more videos like this. I tend to share tips and tricks on this channel, but also I have a Black Widow challenge that I'm doing with kind of the lore and the backstory of Olive Spectre from Sims 2. We are currently going on husband number 4. So if you're interested in catching up on that, I'll go ahead and link it here and down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Happy simming!